What's up, friends? I was feeling called to drop a message, so here it comes, and I hope that you can hear over the noise of my car. But the message today is that no one decides your value but you. Whether that's in, the paycheck that you're willing to accept, or, the bottom line dollar amount that you're willing to accept, or in just knowing what you bring to the table in terms of energetic value, or, whatever gifts you bring to the table, right? Can you hold space for others? Are you supportive? Are you really competent in your skill, exceptionally skilled in some specific way? However you find value in yourself, you're the one that decides how valuable you are. And that's important because what you accept in terms of your own value is what the universe will continue to offer you. And so where that creates a problem for us sometimes is, we keep running around wanting other people to validate our value back to us, right? Like, I want to be found and met at a certain level. And sometimes we make exceptions for our own value, right? We consider ourselves like a prized black stallion, but we'll accept like donkey status. Accept donkey status from others. No offense intended to donkeys. I think they're cute. But I think you get what I'm saying, right? Is like, you can think you're worth a certain amount, or think you're worth a certain thing, or think you're worth certain things that you deserve. But if you, in the physical world, in this simulation that is Earth School, if you accept less than what you tell yourself you're willing to accept, you're voting for that reality. You're voting for that in the simulation. And the simulation reflects us back to ourselves. And we live in the world that is created by our own beliefs and our own thoughts. And there's a million reasons why. There are a million ways that I could explain that, but if you don't already know that, it's a fun rabbit hole to go down on YouTube, especially if you're kind of a science nerd. But our realities are created by us. And your thoughts and beliefs certainly create a lot of reality, but the physical world also plays a role. And that role is, you have to vote for what you want through your actions, and sometimes through inaction in the form of boundaries. And I hope all that makes sense, but all of that to say, it's your task to choose your value, decide what you're worth, and settle for absolutely nothing less than that. And in some cases, I know, I fully acknowledge that it's, it's coming from a position of privilege, or it could be perceived that way, that it's like a privileged statement to say that, because some people are in a position of like, well, I think I'm worth 6 figures every year, but I got kids to feed and I got to stay in my job. Got it. Like, I get that. I've been there a million times, kind of there right now. But can you vote energetically? Yeah. Maybe you can't vote for your own value in the physical world right now with the current job, but that's not to say you can't later. And by the way, if this is all a simulation and time is a construct and we're all just living in one extremely protracted, drawn out moment and the future has already happened, which another science rabbit hole, go check it out, go research that. If time is a construct, the future you want already exists. And so how do you draw that to yourself? Thoughts, beliefs, visualizing yourself in that future that you want, enjoying the emotion of having the future that you want. So I'll wrap this up here quickly by saying, I think it's time we stop trying to find validation of our values in others, right? Stop looking for other people to validate what you're worth by telling you what you're worth or through their behaviors. And instead, we should vote for our value by setting boundaries to protect our value, not tolerating energies that are dissonant with our value, not accepting realities that don't align with our value. And if you have to be kind of in a moment right now where your value, sorry, doing weird things with my mouth, I have a liner in. If you're in a moment where you can't disentangle you from, something that you believe you deserve more higher value than, cool. Visualize the later you, the future you that already has what you want, and own it. Embody that energy. Why? We have to first pretend to be asleep before we fall asleep. So go pretend, go play. And the more you do this, the more you embody that vision of you living your highest value and expressing through the highest value, and only being accessible by people whose value vibe matches your value vibe. The more you practice that, the more real it becomes. Have a great day.